So while we're on the subject of animals and animal encounters, no, not insects. Sorry,
Incest.
No, not incest. I'm sure you've got a lot of stories about that. He's stroking his
Here we
beard.
go
Here he
to
goes.
some dark areas of my past.
As nasty as this story is, I don't think this story is anywhere near as bad as the story you could tell us about incest. But this story involves, I meant to say insects, and it's not. It's arachnids because they aren't insects. But I don't like spiders. I don't kill them. If I've got one in the house, it's a glass over it, an envelope or something underneath, and I relocate them outside. I don't believe in killing them, but I don't like them in the house. The biggest spider I've encountered is the normal house spider that you get, okay? But you've told me a couple of stories. I'll just prompt you, just so you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one you'd been traveling for a long time and you finally got the chance to stay in this plush tent or something or other with a nice bed, and you thought everything was great and you looked up.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I know that
There's
one.
that one. Yeah. And the commode that you went into, and while you were sat on the toilet, something.
It's the same story.
Oh, okay, go for it. You tell us.
It's the same one. Oh yeah, that's I was in Malawi, in Central Africa. I'd had a bit of a rough experience in this town because I got attacked in this township. But anyway, I needed to get out, so I thought head to a lake and chill. So I heard about Lake Malawi is meant to be very beautiful, so I headed towards this. Is a huge lake, massive lake. It's almost like an inland sea. But I went to this lake, and I tried to go to quite quiet, remote area. I don't know why. I was just on my own. So why I wanted to be that quiet, I don't know. But I went to this area that I'd heard about, and it was just woods. I wouldn't say forest because it wasn't dense. It was just woods that went all the way down to the forest, to the lake shore. Sorry, and right in the middle of it was this sort of encampment where there was several huts, and there was like a little, I suppose you call it a restaurant, very basic thatch roof restaurant. Somewhere you could stay. You could chill out. You get some food. You'd be all right. Somewhere to relax, and it's very beautiful, very tranquil. And I thought, yeah, it sounds perfect. So I found this place. It took a whole day getting there and different transports and a lot of walking, but I finally found it. And I was taken down through the woods and shown this hut, and it did look so much like paradise. It was literally on the water's edge where the water was lapping up against the side of the hut, and the window, there's no glass. It was just open right out into the lake, and the lake, you couldn't see the far bank of the lake because the lake is so huge. It's like looking out to sea. And outside there's just a little outhouse with a toilet in and everything. I thought, my God, this is exactly what I need at this minute. I need just peace, quiet, just to escape. Sometimes somewhere like Central Africa, you need to escape, particularly as a not being racist or anything, but as a white person in Central Africa, where you do generate a lot of attention, and it can be, it can be tiring. So I just needed that little bit of space. I thought it was perfect. So the guy showed me. I said, perfect, excellent. I'll have it. I'll take it. Brilliant. It was couple of pounds a night. I can't remember what it was. It was very, very, very cheap. So he went off, and I dragged him back in and dumped it on the floor. And I thought, and it was just a single bed with a mosquito net hanging over the top. Nothing else. Didn't need anything else. What else do you need? Perfect. And then I happened to glance upwards at the thatched roof above my head, which is maybe 6 foot above my head. And there were dozens upon dozens upon dozens of these huge black with grey speckled spiders. I've got average sized man's hands, and every single one of them was the size of my hand. They were just everywhere. It was like an infestation.
That's hell to me. That's my idea of hell.
Immediately, like the back of my head, all my hair stood up. Sweat just appeared from nowhere, all down my back. I'm okay. I'm average with spiders. You know what I mean? Not good, not bad. I'm much better now because I've had such shit experiences since then. It's helped me to deal with it. But at that time, I was kind of average. But this really was horrific. And I was like, oh shit, what do I do? But it was I spent so long to get to this hut, and it took me so much effort. I was reluctant. You know, it's the end of the day. What do I do? Just go out and have nowhere to stay? I was like buggered. I thought, all right, I've got to deal with it. I've got to face up to it. So I thought I'll stay there one night. And I went out. I got something to eat. Came back. Every time I had to walk from the door to the bed it was horrible. Every time I'd spring out with all these sweat bubbles.
Thinking they drop on you or something.
Yeah, because they're right above your head.
Yeah. Oh,
massive
my God, I can't
spiders.
handle that.
I'd say if you're a bloke and you spread your fingers, your hand out as wide as it will go, every single spider was like that, plus the hair. You know what I mean? It was. Ugh. One of them drops on your head, it would cover your whole head.
I can't handle that.
It would cover your whole
No,
head.
I can't handle it.
So I got through, and that night I went to bed and I tucked in the mosquito net all the way around, tried not to think of it. It was just a shit night. It was a horrible night. Next morning, same problem, getting out of bed. You know what I mean? Okay.
Were they still there?
Yeah, they're gone on holiday. This is where they lived. You know what I mean? They're bloody all over the whole inside of the thatch roof.
My skin's crawling.
Everywhere. And so I thought, okay, all right. I'll go toilet. I'll go up to the little thatch restaurant place, get something to eat, and I'll decide what to do then. So I went. It's only literally 8 feet, 10 feet from the front of the hut door to this little outhouse, again made of thatch and wood, where the toilet was. And it was a Western toilet, you know. It wasn't too bad. It was clean. So got out from underneath the mosquito net, tiptoed, all the sweat running down my back to the door, finally stepped outside when nothing could drop on my head. Fuck with that. And then went into the toilet, sat down. At last I could sit on the toilet. Just getting to the toilet was just such a relief, such an effort. So I sat there for a couple of minutes. And then I saw something move beside my foot. And I looked down beside my foot, and this fucking tarantula was walking beside my foot, about an inch from it. And I snapped. I mean, all the pressure and everything, I just couldn't take it anymore. I just went. I had no logical reasoning, no logical thought, no plan, no what am I going to do next. I just reacted. And of course, I was squat down on this toilet, and my legs just went from bent to rigid and straight, and I kind of like a torpedo catapulted out through the door, smashing the door out. And the idea, I think, was probably to kind of run, but my trousers were around my ankles, so running wasn't an option. So I went through the door and then went straight down on my face, with a massive thud.
Ass in the air.
Yeah, ass in the air. And there was during that transition quite a loud scream. Anyway, I had a bit of a problem there, because if you are a human being, you know, in the Western society, you know that we use paper and we do things, and I hadn't had the chance to do things. It was all a bit complicated.
You hadn't actually been.
No, I kind of halfway through.
Oh no!
And
Clipped it off.
Yeah, and there was a spider there. I couldn't get to the toilet paper. It took a lot of sorting out, basically. And a lot of sweating, a lot of shivering, a lot of "fuck off, you bastard" to the spider, and all this kind of thing going on.
Any witnesses?
No, I was in the middle of the woods, and
Because that would have been a good embarrassing moment.
yes.
But obviously it's not embarrassing because there wasn't anyone there
No,
to be
not at all.
embarrassed in front
There's
of.
nothing to be embarrassed about. Eventually, I sorted myself out. I cleaned myself up. I had to go back in to get my pack because obviously I was leaving. I
Yeah.
was planning on several nights there, but no way, not anymore. I managed to get my pack, get it out, went back up to the restaurant. Of course, I had to go and pay these guys the £3 or £4 or whatever it was for staying in their hut. And I approached this little cafe restaurant thingy, and there was the chef, the guy who owned the place, and the little run-around assistant, young lad, all stood outside, all sort of looking around as if they're trying to spot something up in the trees. And I walked up to them with my pack on my back, and they say, hey man, he said, "You hear a girl screaming?"
Is
That's
that seriously?
Seriously. And I said, no, why? He goes, "Well, you are the only guest, man, and like we hear a girl screaming. So we wonder, who's screaming, man? Oh, there's no girl here." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, mate. I'm checking out." Just thought I'd let you know.